Let's try this to start. First row, we're going to, every day when you come in, one thing that's nice is you don't need to bring your calculators with you. Some of you have them, and that's great. They do work if you plug the top thing into someone else's calculator. So one of the, I guess, having done this for 15-ish years now, those calculators, though, are pretty expensive. They're like $150. How much are the Inspires? Yeah? Okay. If you don't have your name literally etched into it, like etched in, not with the marker, because hand sanitizer can take the marker off, someone can steal it. They get sold all the time. At least once a year, someone will mail one to Schrader, to the math department that they accidentally bought on eBay that someone had stole previously. So understand they get stolen. If you have them, that's fine. If you do, I even advise just put in your bag. Don't have to throw it in a hammer. But what we're having you do is, let's have a first row. You guys can go and slide. Pick one up over on the side. Doesn't matter which one. We'll call you guys up by rows to go get it. But just go grab it and then head back to your seat. Second row, you guys can head over to. And I don't know, do you guys use the login to the calculators next year? Okay. Third row, slide over. And fourth row, you guys can head over. So how it works to do the login on these, make sure everybody's so when we get to our calcs every day, you pick them up, especially in the beginning, we need to have you guys logging in. There'll be times when you'll have like little assignments or I'll ask you questions through the calculator and you'll have to submit an independent response or a multiple choice or etc. It lets me know where everyone is. It also lets me know sort of, it helps especially in the beginning to take attendance. When you go in, first thing you do, get to the home screen, and then you can hit 5. It's the easiest way to go through and get there, or you can arrow over whatever you need to. I think it's under settings and then login. And then your username. Now, I apologize, some people, if your last name is super long, I think it truncates it or cuts it off after 10 letters, but I'm not 100%. No one in this class came up as an error. So it should be, your username is the first letter of your first name and then your last name. So if you're Bob Smith, it's B. Smith. And then the password is 1234. It doesn't matter in terms of capitalization on there. If there's anybody also that gets like an error as you're doing this, I very well could have typed in your name wrong. I had to do it quickly at night and by hand. So we have harder last names than others. If there's anybody that, though, it's not coming up or it's saying, invalid name, let me know. I can go through and fix it. But as we do it, you'll see your name goes from grayed out to being black. That helps me see who's there. And make sure you do that pretty much every day when you come in. That helps us make sure we're able to go through and get you guys logged in. Another thing that's going to happen a lot too, and I don't know, there's no real rhyme or reason as to why it does it. It does with certain types of concepts, but I don't know why it does it here. Still, it gives us these little triangles. Understand that if that comes up on your calculator screen, this is a big thing too during the year because the calculator becomes a little more important. When that comes up, the calculator is telling you, I don't know what I'm doing. It kind of freaks out. If it sees it with the triangle during computation, I don't know what it means here. It might mean your calculator is in safe mode or something. But is everybody able to log in? Yes? Okay, so if you're not connected to the network, you could go through and try to, on the drop-down, is mine coming up as a network? No. So, you could do, so this is another thing. If the calculator, sometimes you'll come in and the calculator, the login button will be grayed out. Don't do this now if your login button isn't grayed out because you literally have to read everything you did. But if you turn these guys over on the back, see this little button? This makes the magic happen. If the calculator is in any way screwed up, this puts it back to at least what it was when you picked it up, probably better than before that. Hit the reset button. It will sort of help refine and try to reconnect to the navigator that's up front if it freaks out or whatever. All right. Any questions on that? I know there were a couple of you. Was it just that it was grayed out for the login? If you couldn't log in, right? Okay. Let it retry, and if it reboots up and it works, great. If not, we'll learn from it. All right. Yes. Also, so slide over and have out your expectation sheet. Hopefully, we should bang this part out pretty quick. My name is Mr. Matt. This should be L2 enriched. My email and stuff is down there. As far as what you need for class, this is for us, and I always get gripes about it, but you'll get over it pretty soon. This right here is our first, I guess, 13 days worth of the year, and I throw at you as much stuff as I can to go over that great big giant blue packet. That great big giant blue packet is your notes for the full year and, or sorry, not the full year, for the first unit, and whenever possible, I try to throw the homework in as well. Plus there's stuff that like explains what we do, there's review in there, the whole deal. And people start bringing us to go, oh my God, it's a lot of pages. The thing that's kind of good and bad about this year is if you like enjoy math and like you're ready to, you know, sink your teeth into what we go through and do, you'll have a lot of opportunities. This isn't, you know, to catch, you know, to do the bare minimum or to do like, oh, we're enriched, so we do like a little bit of an extra worksheet or we do like 2 extra questions at the end. We're here to push you, and you guys, you know, it's a lot. By no means some people start freaking out thinking we do every single example in that book. We don't. There's a lot of them that we don't do. We see where you stand, and if you know how to do it, I can do kind of them. But it should be designed to push you a little bit. You should be able to start seeing sort of the math that happens all around you. I don't know, we were talking about it the other day. Like in our class this year, we're going to learn everything from the geometry. There's a picture of it up the other day. I'm trying to find it. From the Burning Man Festival, like the picture of the guy, who knows what's the Burning Man? Okay. It's a kind of a hippie-ish thing. It's maybe a little bit. There's a Rochester one college one, say. There's some Rochester festival that's like that festival. There's about 80,000 people out there. They make these big giant. There's always a Burning Man, a great big giant sculpture made of wood. At the end of the festival, there's a bunch of music and electronic stuff, whatever. But at the end of it, they light the big thing on fire. Well, this year's one is designed by James Stewart, who wrote calculus books, who apparently is a big hippie as well. And it's all geometric, and it's math that we can do in here. Everything from that to, who knows who Barry Bonds is? For sure, we can show you how we can use sports and the math behind it to prove things like why Barry Bonds cheated at baseball this year that he hit 71 home runs. We can show all of that through math, and that's the stuff that you guys are going to be covering this year. I don't know, it's designed to push you. These packets, though, take the place of any notebook, so I'd advise you to get a big binder to put them all in, or at least someplace, and we use those accordion folders, whatever. Just don't lose the stuff that we do. Other than that, there's really not a lot you need to have with you when you come every day. Just make sure those that's with you. As far as grades, your grades are weighted. Let me know this in the beginning because you all especially tend to freak out a lot. You're going to see there's a ton of grades. When we go through, you have an assessment like the one you picked up every day when you come in. There are only 3 or 4 questions. Sometimes they're multiple choice, some are free response. Most days you have a count, some you won't. And you get those done. They're on what we did the day before. Very seldom do I go through and give you like a worksheet and say, hey, do this at home and bring it back, the reason why. People tend to copy that a lot. And that's fine. I don't care how you learn. You need to be able to go through and do it when the time comes. And if you actually learned it by doing the homework, it's really impossible for you to screw it up. A good way to think of whether or not you know something, think about right now what your address is. Now, if someone came up to you in a frantic rush, imagine Mr. Ben runs up to your grandfather's sort of shaking, what's your address? Would you freak out and say the wrong address? Would you? I hope not. I hope not. Depends on how hard you feel. But I hope not. And that's the same thing with math. Like as you go through, no matter how frantic someone comes up to you, if they go, "What's 2 plus 2?" and you start freaking out going, "I don't know," it's okay. One other thing too, by the way, that gets confused in there has to do with what gets graded, and I guess your perception of it. You're going to have, though, a ton of these. In the quarter, you're probably going to have maybe 20 or more. Quizzes per quarter, you have one every day, so I think it might even be, it's a fourth of 135. Tests, we're probably going to have maybe 2 to 3, and for quizzes, you're probably going to have maybe 3 to 5 for the unit. Okay? So just understand the daily assessments, you're going to have a ton of them. That's your daily index of how well you're doing. If you're failing the daily assessments over and over again, how do you think you're going to probably do on the next quiz? Probably not that well. Those are like the warning signs. If I don't know it, maybe I made a dumb mistake. And by the way, that's another thing. If you go through and do a multiple choice question, it's possible like you added a 5 instead of subtracting something small, you're going to get the wrong answer. It doesn't diminish your self-worth at all. It doesn't mean everyone thinks you're dumb. It doesn't mean everyone's talking about you or anything like that. It means you made a mistake in math class. We're all going to do it, myself included. We'll get over it with time. The other part is your test. And again, one of the things that does get a little bit funny too is when people start saying, "I'm a bad test taker," because you're really like lowering the bar for yourself already. And the other part that I find a little bit funny about it is you probably didn't come up with that on your own. I've noticed that I hear a lot of adults with questionable work ethics that tell that to kids because it's a lot easier to say, like, you can't take a test than to actually work with you to make sure you're successful on it. An easy way to think about something that might make the analogy a little bit clearer. My niece, now I've got one who is 9 months old and one who is 3. And I remember when the one who was 3 started crawling, I remember it was almost like it was a sign from above. I was out in Fredonia visiting my sister, and Juliana stood up and she started walking. And I mean, she took her first step, and we were so excited. Except what normally happens immediately after a baby takes their first step? They have their first fall, right? And she face planted. And of course, the step was onto carpet, and she fell onto hardwood floor. And after that, she's crying. But the ironic thing was, we went over there to go through and console her and try to pick her up. She started crying and kicked her. What did she want to do? Try walking with her. She didn't give up. Now imagine if she did. Imagine how awkward middle school and high school would be for Juliana if she had to crawl on her elbows across the dirty high school floor every day. Because she tried walking once, and she failed. And we told her she's probably going to be a bad walker. So crawl for the rest of your life. I mean, get real. You have to get up. You have to keep trying. Eventually, you'll get better at it. Don't worry. By the way, adding and subtracting is a heck of a lot easier than walking. The other thing that makes me a little bit scared, too, when people say you're a bad test taker, bad test taker means that you tend to panic under pressure. That's really what they're saying, that I don't know it well enough, so I get nervous and I panic under pressure. You all, are you 14 or 15 or 16? 15? Great. So, it's good that we get you now. If you're a bad test taker, please, 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 never get away. I don't want to be the person in the car with you when you're driving across the bridge and it goes from 3 lanes down to 2. And all of a sudden you freak out, right? You're going to take your hands off the wheel, throw your hands up and start screaming, going, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do." Right? Just keep driving straight, right? Panic situation. Imagine if you're a doctor and the doctor walks in with a gunshot wound or something, and the doctor goes, "I need this guy to stop bleeding. It's freaking me out. I need everyone to stay really hot." Do you think that's how life happens? They're going to be given questions that are hard, pushing you aside. Don't panic. Don't give up. Don't cry. We'll get over it. That's it. Yeah, the grade worshiping part in the beginning, since your grade is weighted, it's going to fluctuate a ton. Like, no matter how many assessments you go through and take, all of them put together don't equal half of what your tests are worth. So don't freak out. You're going to have bad ones. And in the beginning, when you have 5 assessments in there, that are only 20% of your grade. You throw a quiz in, that one quiz is worth more than all the assessments together. So is the test. The test is worth as much as all the quizzes and daily assessments put together. But they all work with each other. So as stuff fills in, your grade will fluctuate, and at the end, it tends to stabilize out long term. We'll go over the math to survive the test better at the end. But the real big thing, I guess, is this. This is another one that tends to make it so people get confused. Some of you get this, and you've been traveling with each other for a couple of years now. Some of you have to really, really bust your butt to do well. And you are a worker. You need to see it 30 times, and then you can do it 100 times. But you need to see it, and that's fine. Some people can look at a question once, never pick up their pencil, and be able to do it without a problem. That's fine. That's why I don't grade the stuff that are attributes and not performance-based. I don't want this to come across the wrong way. Some of you have to work really hard, and some of you don't. That's not great. Some of you are super nice people. Some of you probably are stabbing with knives in your head right now. That's not part of the story. I don't care what type of person you are. I don't care how much work you have to put in. Know yourself and how much it'll take, but it's all up to you. You're probably going to need more time than some people and less time than others. But we're not going to go through and sit there and say, well, this person worked for 20 minutes and this person worked for 5, so they should get more points. That's not how it works. So just make sure when we're there, you can go through and do the math. Now, that's it. One thing that is interesting, though, we'll have you sign up for something. When you come in, you're going to see, I just erased this from last year, there's going to be a row of spots up here. When you come in, please make sure on days that we have tests and quizzes, you leave your phone up there for the period. For some reason, 2 years ago, there was this big thing where all of the kids in at the Enriched Commons were taking pictures of the test, like first period, and then formed some sort of group chat, and we're sending them out to literally everybody for the rest of the day. So we're going to make sure that that, I guess, doesn't happen. And by the way, another thing, if someone wants to cheat from you, I don't know why anybody ever allowed, like, why would you be the person first period who's like, oh, I don't know what's on the test. We're going to send it to everybody else to make the test easier for them. I'm not really sure why people did that, but whatever. On those days, make sure those get left up front. The only other thing that's a little bit different, and I don't know if any of the middle school people still use it. Do you use Castle Learning for anything? That's still a thing here? Okay. So we're using something a little bit different for homework. It's not like Castle Learning. I teach at colleges as well. They have a program for kids called Math Excel. Did you all have that last year? Okay. So we'll get you signed up for it and stuff today, but it's a math place that you can go through and do your homework. It's from the company that runs it. It's Pearson, the same one who does books and other stuff you've seen around. The thing is, though, all of the questions are different for everyone. So just so you know, like, if somebody were to send you their question from the homework, even on a few responses, you're not going to have the same numbers, so it doesn't benefit you anyways to go through and do that. But if anybody cheats, you all get it. That's pretty much it. All right, so that's the end of that. Do we have any questions on this? All right, do me this favor now. We have to do all of your homework. So take the computers out and open them up. First thing we'll have you go through and do is sign in to our, or sign up, I guess, for our classroom. So if you go to, I want to say if you like type in like Google Class, if you Google Classroom, it should come up. I'm sure you guys might have it bookmarked by now. But go in, please. I think this is your code for XXYDG. It's on there. So go in, please, and sign in for that. And you'll see there should be like 5 or 6 things already posted there for you. Looks like we got some people already. I tried to make the banner as personal for you as we can. This inevitably comes up as well. If you miss class for any reason, Our classes for the last 8 years have been archived on YouTube. You can see us. You can see what we went through and did, the examples, etc. The web page that you go to is literally the one that's up there at the top. It pretty much refreshes every day. You can tell by the skipping on the board. We may have some technology issues, at least in the beginning, but hopefully the district can get it figured out. This was the thing that they wanted you to make sure that you saw. For some reason, this didn't come through. You click on the one that says Google Docs. This gives you your directions for logging in to the portal. Now, they went out of their way for this, so as you guys click on this now, make sure we read it together. First thing up, I guess, as you're doing it, try to go in and do this now. Go to that website here. If you click on it, it's websterschools.org. Hover over district and then scroll down and click on parent student portal. So the one thing I think you need to understand too, they don't want you logging in as your parents. That for some reason was field. The second thing was to make sure that you're able to get in and know that I think your password resets every academic year. I believe. Is everybody okay with getting those first two things done? Raise your hand if you're on that page. 1, 2 of us. Okay. And by the way, when I ask you to raise your hand, we're not doing deodorant testing. This is 30. This is not. So how many of us are at this part here, I guess? Hover over the district and who's clicked on the parent student portal. Okay. Now, here's the part where it's going to be a little bit awkward. Your username is your student ID number. Is that something that you all know? Yes or no? Do you know it? And I think it's on your schedule. Does everybody have their schedule for today? I think it's on there. If it's not, where is it? Okay, so in the top right there. Okay, student number, it's 6 digits, is that right? Okay. So if you've got your schedule, it's on that top right up there. And then your password is your first name initial, last name initial, and birth date. So Susie Jones, and that's her birthday, would be SJ. And then it's 2 months for the month, or sorry, 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 2 digits for the year. Okay? Did that get you in, yes or no? Now, by the way, who has gotten in? By the way, before you, there's a screen, then it'll come up and say, like, enter your new password. Is that right? Is that the next screen after you log in? Yes, okay. Once you get to that screen, it says change your password at the top. Thank you. Once you get to that one, stop and raise your hand. Because that's all. Okay, we got one person. Thank you. 2 of us, we're getting there. I guess I can try a couple times or no? All right. Okay. Who else? Any other issues? Two of us have issues. 3? All right. Okay. I guess so what would yours be? What would yours be if we were going to go through it? So what's your first of your first name? Okay. And then first of your last? And now your birthday? It doesn't work? You all have any issues? Do you have any thoughts? Anything? Now, let's see. For those of you who are on the new password screen, let's get there. Hold your hands up high. Who are new password screen people? Half of us? Okay. Those people that are on that screen, what I need you to understand is this. Doesn't it ask you when you log in for the first time, you'll be prompted to change your password? They want your old password. That's the password from above, though. It's not one from a previous year. What I'd advise you all to do, who are my people who can't get in? One, two. What I'd advise you, see if your old password will work. Try that. There's no harm, I don't think, in trying with your user ID or whatever it is. Let's see if anybody gets success with that. That worked? Did it work for you? And now when it comes up to the new screen, I think enter that previous password. Who else now is locked out from both ways? Does anybody have fails on both? Okay, we got 3, 4 of you who do? Okay, all right. That means that the rest of us know are okay. Did we log in with our old passwords? All right. One of the things, too, we'll give it to you not maybe by the end of this week. I can see when you've logged in as a student on your student account. So what we'll do is this. For those of you who have logged in, congrats, you're at least covered. What to do right now, take a piece of paper, even the back of that white expectation sheet, write down what the password is. Okay? Write it down. Like actually write it down. Whatever your password that you picked after you reset it, write it down so you don't forget. And actually, I'll even have you do this. This will probably make it a little bit easier, too. Have your phones out as well. I always advise people to go through and create a contact with that in it because you're going to need a second password for math class anyway. So you're going to have to go in and you can make some sort of file on there. Create a contact if you've got an iPhone that's called, Infinite Campus, and literally put in the phone number as your 6-digit ID, and maybe add a secondary number as your password, or whatever you want to do. Put it in as a username, I don't care. And give yourself a way to save it, because we don't want anything to get ruined, and don't want things to get lost. Because if you forget that password, it's a pain in the butt to get reset. It doesn't work either way? Okay. Then try, but this one, see how it's got a different length on it? Maybe something got deleted, but. Oh, the new password? It's got to have a different one. Is this are you saying the old password? Is the new password the same? Okay. Oh, that would be the one up here for the old password. And then the new one will be whatever you're choosing for this year. So, did we make that out as a contact, guys? Yes or no? Okay. The next thing that we're going to have you do, as long as you're there and your phones are out, this part's up to you, how you choose to sign up. Click on. Have your teachers before with you? And I apologize if I don't know what you've done before. Did your teachers with you use Remind? Yes or no? Who's had used Remind before? Okay. So if you have the app, you can log in, and that is our class code. If you don't have the app and you want to go in and sign up, you can text the number 81010 with that message, and that'll get you signed up. And if you want email alerts, instead of having text alerts, if you click on the Remind instructions that are in Google Classroom, if you click on that, it'll let you know how you can sign up for email. Instead of sending out homework answers through Classroom, I'll frequently just send them out as a file through Remind. That way it's on your phone. You can check it wherever you are. I guess it just works out a little bit easier maybe for all of us. But if I have files and stuff to send out, answer keys, that's how we tend to go through and do it. So do we have questions on that? Yes. Okay. And you did this part already? Okay, let's try and get you another email. Try this. I don't know, like your Web 60 SD one? I don't know. Did anybody get a prompt that asked them for an email? You did as well? What is it?
I just put in my Web 60.
Okay, yeah, so use that, because I think if there's a password reset, it probably will send it to that email. That's probably what they want it for. Did anybody else get that? Okay, I think it's asking just because it needs to send a reset email when you go through and do it. So we got that, then we got Remind set up. Does it work if you do the same for both?
Yeah.
Okay. We got Remind, Classroom set up. The only other one that's a little bit, well, as long as you're on your computers, slide over to a browser window and go in to our class website, or sorry, our class YouTube page if you want. It's pretty simple. It's YouTube/Math Class Mr. Mac, no spaces. We've been going for about 8 years now, and there are a ton of videos up. If you ever miss, it's the expectation that you'll go on and watch what's there. I take a video of every single section. Don't worry, you're not in it. But when you go through and do it out, that video is going to have my audio, and it's going to go through and have what the computer screen is the full time. If you miss for any reason, it's the expectation that you will go on, watch what we do, and take those notes. Sometimes if you don't have the packet, you don't freak out. That's what pen and paper is for. And actually, well, one of the things that kind of stinks right now is I bet everybody is on the network. Is your pages loading quickly or no? Okay. As we go through and do it, there you can see those. There's a bunch of our videos there. What else do we have to go through and do? We did this. I think that's pretty much it. Anything over there? Oh, one thing also that you guys need to know, on Thursday of this week, and it's kind of an odd, we're trying to hire a new math teacher, and they need to start as soon as humanly possible. And myself and Ms. Johnson are in charge of the department, so we get stuck with finding groups of people to go through and sort of be our little guinea pigs and have a person do their sample lesson on. You guys win one of the times on Thursday when we get together. Because this board doesn't work that well, we may or may not be meeting in here. But on Thursday, somebody else is going to be coming in. There's going to be a whole bunch of results. Very good. We're going to be doing a lesson on topics on geoparks, including the source. Remember how much fun that was? But that not fun topic, you're going to get to see somebody from another school district come over and do. I don't think we need to go over this. You guys need to go over the only other thing too that gets a little bit funny, you guys are sort of a little bit weak and so actually go potty. You have to go potty. Correct. We all go through together. What you need to do is just slide up here. You have to go. Now, until this one is through, you sit there. And the bathroom is in this one. Always keep these things if there's some required bathroom. And if you're a girl, just understand, please, the acoustics work out. So all of the noise, all of the conversations you have funnel right out into the hallway. And you can, don't know, maybe the sound it literally echoes into here. So, for some reason, people like have parties in there, so you're about to be different. Why? But we'll come back this week and we don't need to know if you have to go potty. Just take the class and you can go. Is that okay too? Trying to think of what else. The last thing I guess for today that we'll do, you guys have Let's start off, I guess, maybe you'll even get your first homework in there. So, see this one here that says all about me? Put a star on that, make sure we get that guy done for tonight. So we can find out a little bit about you. And one thing that we will handle in class today, and hopefully bang out before we get done, is your factoring review foldable. So have this yellow guy out for me. Now, as we do this, there is a front side and a back side. What I need you to do is open up sort of this inside piece of it here. Go over to this, and then we'll show you how it works out. Okay? So, as we do these out, these are... Okay. These are the different kinds of factoring that you guys are responsible for knowing. And I also think it's... You probably, let's put it this way, who has an opinion or feeling towards that? I'm not saying positive or negative. Who has a feeling towards factoring to begin? Raise your hand. It either can be good or bad. He's like, I love it or I hate it. It doesn't matter which kind. That's really apathetic. Maybe like, it tends to be the thing that everybody, you get asked to do over and over again. For some reason, I don't know who was teaching maybe before, like in 7, 8, when this first gets shown to you guys. No one knows why they're doing it. At least very few people do. And it always, especially like in an enriched group, to show how like you guys kind of must have trained like dogs at times. Like we ask you to do this thing over and over again, and no one can say why. Like you have no, who's here to tell me why you practice this? So I'm literally 0 for 25 in my first present. No one knows. Yeah, who knows like something about that? Like part of the process or something, or type of it or something. You know something about it, you just don't know why you're using it. That to me is astounding. Like that you could do math, accelerated math, our best and brightest. Some of our top 25 are in here right now. And how many people can tell us why we factor? Raise your hand if you did factor. Raise your hand if they explain why you did that. Now you'll understand some of my headache. And by the way, there's going to be a billion things that during the year you're going to hear me correct you on. We don't need you to cry. We're all going to have things that we do wrong. There's things like when you give out a fraction, okay? What's the name of the two? Hands up, please. You can tell me positionally, location-wise, where is the two? Thank you. We're big kids. You're almost old enough to drive a 2,000-pound car at 60 miles an hour. You can say the word numerator. And then underneath the numerator, you have something else. Hands up when you can tell me what that is. Look at this. There we go, the denominator. Fractions have numerators and denominators, and outfit has a top and a bottom. As we go through, you're going to find the input, like when you plug something in. So if we have 2x plus 3, this right here, that right there is called the argument. You're going to learn so many cool things about math you didn't know. Like this right here is a square root. It's called a radical. The value underneath it, does anybody know what that? You did radicals before, right? Anybody know what the name of the number underneath the radical is called? Why would you? You're only in Algebra 2 and Rich. No one told you what the name of that is? Okay, that's a radical. That's what lives under it. Radicand. The one that I find so comical is if we go through and I give you an XY graph, everyone says the same thing, although at least I think Mr. Leader said it changed. Maybe you did. What's the name of that called? The XY graphing plane that you've been working on since 3rd grade, that for some reason no one knows what it's called. No one knows the name of it? Coordinate plane, sure. But there's a bunch of different coordinate planes that we could use. The one that has the X's and the Y's on it. You've heard of the Cartesian plane before? Right? Some, maybe. So understand at least my frustration. In the beginning, you will definitely, now you know what, by the way, things that make this a little comical for me, was remembering that that's how the Cartesian plane is. That a lot to link? No. But for some reason we don't do it, but we will going forward. Now, one of the things that is kind of cool, we get to go back and spend a lot of time making sure you know how to do some stuff. First one up, the factoring that we'll do, we'll go across. We'll bang out these first two and see if we can get this done before we have to go. First thing up, we've got to look to factor down for the first two. So I'm going to take a look at the two on the left over here. I broke those down, and now I need to look at the two on the right. I got 16a squared minus 12a. There's two terms there. The very first thing we need to look for every time is something you can factor out from both. So looking at that, what can I divide out or undistribute or factor out from both of those terms in the binomial? Hands up, please, if you can tell me. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What would you like to say? Close. She gave me a common factor, not greater. 4 and an a, correct. Now what's left when we take that 4a out? Can you keep going? Close. It should be. Oh, I screwed up there. What's missing on mine? There you go. Inside the parentheses should be a 4a minus 3. All you're doing is undistributing. What can I undistribute from the second one? Hands up, please, if you can tell me what can we factor out or undistribute from that second trinomial, which is what you call an expression with 3 terms. What can we get out from the trinomial? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we want to say? So I take out a 3n squared, and when I undistribute that out, you're left with the quantity of, and by the way, when you need to say parentheses in math, you use the words the quantity of, and I think that's right, 4n cubed minus 6n, and then minus 1, because remember, if there's 3 terms, you pull out the 3n squared. You need to have a 1 there as a placeholder. Do we have questions on GCF? All right, next one's up. These are the fast factoring. It needs to multiply to the end and add to the middle. Who remembers what x squared minus 9x plus 18 should factor down to? What two binomials do we multiply together to get x squared minus 9x plus 18? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. And they'll be binomials. Some of us want to say numbers. I need the amounts in the parentheses. That's 2 terms when we say binomial. But I need the full expression. He's not wrong. He gave me parts of the binomial stuff. What will the factors be? He gave me numbers, 6 and 3. You know? There you go. When we want the factor, you've got to give me the binomial, which means 2-part expression. There's 2 binomials there multiplied together. Now, this next one might be a little bit hard. You guys are enriched. I bet maybe you've seen something like this before. How is this question different than the one we did above it? Hands up, please, if you can tell me. You got no takers? Seriously, one person? I'm not that good at doing the techniques. 3, 4. What do you want to say?
It has a 4 instead of a 2.
Yeah. As the exponent of the degree, the highest exponent. Yeah, it's a 4 and a 2 this time instead of a 2 and a 1. Who wants to take a guess as to what you think x to the 4th plus 7x squared plus 12 would factor to? You got 1, 2, 3 of us. This is a part 2. There's no firing squad if you're wrong. So you don't sit and laugh or anything like that.
X to the 2nd plus 3, which is...
Outstanding. It's the same pattern as above, except I need an x to the 4th there and an x squared. So I need to have x squareds in the beginning. Now this one here is probably the toughest one that we'll go through and do, so we'll table that. How about a difference of perfect squares? What about 9a squared minus 16? Look at the examples on the left if you need to see the pattern. But what do we think 9a squared minus 16 would factor down to be? We've got no takers. We can get 5 of us. We can take a guess as to what we think 9a squared minus 16. Great, we got 1. Let's see if we can get 5. 2 of us, thank you. 3, thank you. 4, we're getting there. Make the connection to what's on the side. Follow that pattern again. What would you like to say? Go ahead.
3A plus 4.
And?
3A minus.
There you go. Take the square root of the left plus or minus the square root of the right. This one's a little bit difficult because we get a little bit stuck sometimes and you don't understand position is important. How do we think 25 minus x squared would factor down? Take a look at what's there, so you can get 4 this time. 25 minus the x squared. It's okay to screw it up, but it is concerning if we can't make the link. We got 2 of us so far. 3, thank you. 4. What would you like to say? Oh.
5A plus.
Careful, no A. So just 5 plus x and 5 minus. That's perfect. Notice the square root of the left goes first. It doesn't matter that there's a variable second. Now, what we'll even have you do, all right, so you're going to have 2 bits for homework tonight. And maybe it's even going to be easy. This guy here, finish up. And the second part is going to be very challenging. Now, your homework for tonight, and we'll do this together. Bell's going to ring in a second. Calm down. As we do this, see this, actually, you know what? We'll save the fun part for tomorrow. We'll save the fun part. Keep this to the side, love. Have this. This will be what our homework is for tonight. And by the way, those of you who have portal issues, make sure we get that situated. I don't know if it tells you on there who to see or not. But I would go through, see if you can get it done by the end of the first week, and make sure you can access your portal. All right? Thank you very much. By the way, can you please make sure your couch gets put over in the bin on the side? Please and thank you. And we'll get your names tomorrow. The whole deal. Thanks for a good day. We only have 134 more left.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.